Hello everybody, just wanted to welcome you back to another Talking Head episode with me, Denoy. I know it's been a long time since I've been on YouTube, and the reason is really because the knife gig that I took, pretty much took over my whole life. There virtually was no time off. I was constantly scheduled to work, and then I started requesting every other weekend so I could see my kids. And trying to get days off, so I was only working 5 days a week instead of working as much as 16, 20, 30 days straight with no breaks at all. They would schedule you off for 2 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, but then on Wednesday you had to spend the whole day pretty much moving inventory from one store to another, so you only had really 1 day off. And then the day you were moving inventory, you actually didn't get paid. You were considered off. So you're driving around hauling all this stuff, not even getting paid, and you're not selling knives. Which is why they're having a hard time, one of the reasons probably why they're having a hard time holding people in this position in the gig to sell knives. But long story short, my boss Larry, if you've been following along, he was indeed found. He's like a recovering alcoholic, and they sent him out there to I don't know exactly what triggered him, but probably because he was out there in South Florida, where I was supposed to be, in Doral, Florida, and he ended up, and it might have been related to the job, I don't know, I haven't really talked to him about it yet, because as I'm doing this segment right here, he still hasn't returned to work, even though he's scheduled to return to work, so he may be back, but in the meantime, this is what I understood happened. He essentially just went on a binge, and he's got a channel, so maybe I'll, if I'm able to talk to him before this channel airs, I'll provide a link, so if you want to follow his story and his channel, you can see kind of what happened and what it's like trying to recover from being an alcoholic. I'm glad Larry was found alive. I was really worried about him because he really is a great guy. He's the guy who, if you've been following along, knew my situation and got me into Planet Fitness so I could take a shower and stuff when I first started working for Hessler, and been working with me to try to help me out. And he was my direct boss. And then when he took off, I had to report to the Florida boss, and then things kind of went downhill from there, because without Larry there to buffer, I had to deal with the Florida boss directly. And he was short staffed, so he was scheduling pretty much the few people that were left to work every day, nonstop pretty much. And then it became an issue, and I let him know, and then he told me that what they could do is move me down to I'm totally lost here now in the middle of the compound. But anyhow, he was like, well, they could schedule me down to part-time status. And I made a video on that, which I still haven't even uploaded yet, but it may be up before this one here. But when they said they were going to put me to part-time status, I was happy with that, because I was like, you know what? As long as I make enough money to cover my child support, I'm happy. Give me every other weekend off, and then a couple regular days off so I can do my YouTube videos, I can do my photography, and have somewhat of a life other than just selling knives all the time. So he had told me that, and I was in agreement, and I was all happy, and I was all excited, and because I was like, this could be a career for me, not career, but something that I would do for at least 5-6 years, because I was starting to get good at selling the knives. People loved my show, my presentation of it, and it looked like it might be something that I could actually do, even though money wasn't super great. It wasn't what they promised us, but it was enough to cover my child support, and I had a little bit of spending money. And it wasn't exactly hard. It was just kind of a bit of a burnout, in the sense that you do 12 shows a day, every day, pretty much. And it's like the same show over and over and over, even though you're at a different Sam's Club every 2 weeks. But it can burn you out. Anyhow, the boss and I had that agreement, And then what happened was I was assigned to Vero Beach, which I did, and I actually did fantastic over there. Sold a bunch of knives, including the plus sets, which are like the really big, expensive sets. So commission on those were very good. But then I had Saturday, Sunday off, which was agreed on, and I took those days off. Then Monday, Tuesday, which was agreed to be off, and then Wednesday, which I was scheduled off, but I still had to move inventory. So on Wednesday, I went into the Vero Beach store to move merchandise all the way from Vero Beach down to Coral Springs, Florida, which is like more than 100 and something miles. So I drove, and this is, mind you, I'm not getting paid for that. Well, I'm going to interrupt this video just a little bit here because I found a spot that was also on fire here at the compound. So I'm going to go ahead and show it. Why not? Because if you're following the vlogs, and you know that I was talking about the fire at the compound. But here's another section that apparently was on fire. I know it's hard to tell that this was on fire because you can see green grass everywhere. But this area was on fire just about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Is that crazy? It's green already. That's how fast the grass comes back. But you can see the little palm trees are all like charred. And all the brushes are missing. They're gone now. So this is another section that was on fire. I don't know if it was a controlled burn or if it was accidental or what. From what I understood, it was controlled, but now I'm like, how can it be controlled? It's only like little spots, not throughout a whole section. But what had been scary was, if you catch the other video, you actually see that one of the burn spots like this was actually right next to Camp Freedom 2. I mean, it was like literally 50 yards away. So let's get back to where we were with the situation with Hessler. A lot of people have said to me that they were scams and stuff like that. I don't really think it's a scam, but a lot of what they promise is not, you know, as easily attainable as they make it seem like it is. But if you do your job and you're good at it, you can make pretty decent money. I wouldn't say you make a lot of money. I would say you make just a little bit more than minimum wage, you know. And if you're really good and lucky and get good stores, you can make maybe 2 or 3 times minimum wage. So, but that's not consistent, you know. It's only when they put you at a good store and you kind of get the sales going. Other times you could be making pretty much nothing, minimum wage or less than minimum wage. Now, I didn't mind that, you know, even though the pay wasn't that good, because it was covering my expenses and my child support, and I could see my kids. And that's why we had this issue that is resulting in me resigning from Hessler. What happened was I moved the inventory from Vero Beach down to Coral Springs, and then I tried to text my boss and call him, and he wasn't calling me back. And then he sends out a schedule, and I took a look at the new schedule, and it had me scheduled to work every single day of the week. And I'm like, what the heck? I just talked to him about 5 days earlier, and he said I would have the weekends off so I could see my kids and stuff. And I had already made plans, you know. I make plans and stuff based upon that, and plans to try to get a mechanic to look at Little Blue to do some repairs. But he scheduled me straight through. So then I texted him and said, did you forget that you were supposed to schedule me off? Because, you know, I'm supposed to see my kids and I've already made plans. And then he texts me back saying, listen, either I want to work or I don't want to work. I had to decide within an hour if I wanted to work this job or he would replace me right then and there. I was like, what the hell? The whole reason for me taking the job was so I could see my kids, and you just told me last week, less than 5 days ago, that I had the days off, so we were in agreement so I would stay, and now I've hauled all this freaking inventory hundreds of miles without pay, and you're gonna text me and tell me that you're gonna fire me if I don't stay and work straight through literally as much as like 21, 31 days straight. Well, you know how long it took me to make that decision. I was like, you know what? I'm not gonna haul this inventory from here, from Vero Beach, all the way down to Coral Springs for free. I'm taking it back. So I packed up the inventory And then I told him, I texted him and said, look, you need to pay me $2,500, whatever's owed to me, okay? And I have the inventory here. Until I get the payment, you know, you guys aren't going to know where the inventory is. But I was taking it back to the Vero Beach store. So then he texts me back and says they're going to have me arrested and stuff for, what's it called? I forget what he called it. But it's like saying that I am stealing the merchandise and all that. And they're going to have me arrested. He's got the police at my house waiting for me and everything. And I'm like, dude, I did the research on your company, and if you type in Hessler Worldwide, and you're going to see the issues with the complaints, they were from previous workers who didn't get paid. And they had to hold the knives as hostage until they got paid. So that's what I was doing. I was trying to make sure that I got paid because they owed me for 2 weeks. Wow, more fire here. Let me go ahead and pause right now to show. Look at this. This must have been, you know, what they were showing on the news. A really big section. Because I was trying to figure out where all the burns were. So this is one area here. And this looks like it might be controlled. It actually looks like at the edge of the, and somebody has been painting arrows. So some of these roads are being marked. And this section here, look at this, even across through here. I think that the burn that occurred here was not so much from the wild area, but from the owned area. See, because right across that whole field, it's all burnt and empty. So this is the area they were showing on the news. This whole section has been burned down. And I don't think it was an accident. I think it was set on purpose. So this section was burned on purpose, and it isn't even green yet. So they had a controlled burn. And I don't know if it was the county that did this or the owner, but I think the side that you see that's burned here, I think it's privately owned. I don't think it belongs to the city. Because I remember coming by here before and there were signs having the names of the owners or something. And you can see barbed wire fence there. See the barbed wire fence coming right up to the edge? So maybe the owner there did it to keep his area from getting burned by this overgrown area that's run by the city. Anyhow, back to the Hessler situation. So, boss says I have an hour. I tell him, I'm gone. I'm out of here. I quit. You need to pay me my last paycheck, and then you get your knives back. And then he's threatening arrest and stuff. So then I take off, and I head up to Vero Beach to put the knives back, you know, the remaining inventory, back at the Sam's Club. And then I had contacted the company and left a message, and they didn't get back with me. So then he's trying to get in touch with me. The boss keeps trying to call me. At this point, once you've made a threat that you're going to have me arrested, because I had told him my situation, and he decided to use it against me. This is weird. This section's completely open. Makes me want to go, but I don't want to go. I don't want to go get a flat and get lost in there. It looks like somebody opened up the road to the private side. Anyhow, so he had made a threat to have me arrested, and I'm like, at this point, I don't even really want to work here anymore, because I'm trying to get away from all this crazy drama and weird stuff in my life and try to resume some normalcy and move forward with my life. And here I am, the boss that I'm working for is threatening to have me arrested. I think he called it like embezzlement or something, okay? And I said, how can it be embezzlement when I told you what I'm doing and I need my paycheck? You guys owe me money. And I contacted the company. So, you know, if I'm embezzling, I'm not going to tell you guys what I'm doing. So anyhow, I called the police to see what's going on, and the Coral Springs police, because that's where I was, Coral Springs, and the Coral Springs Police Department tell me, well, he can't get you for stealing or embezzling or anything if you don't have any of the merchandise with you. You know, you're not stealing it if you don't have it with you, so just put it back where it belongs. I was like, yeah, I'm heading back to put it back now where it belongs. And I was headed back to the Sam's Club, not in Coral Springs, but in Vero Beach, because I'm not going to move all that merchandise for free for them if they aren't even going to pay me for it. So I headed back, and then when I get back, in okay, to Vero Beach, I get a call from Kirk, one of the higher ups, one of the older workers who's a senior worker there, high up in the company. So he calls me and he says, don't leave. He doesn't want me to quit, that they want me to stay, and that there was just a miscommunication. And, I'm upset, and I'm telling them, look, I don't like it when people change their agreement with me. If I'm told that I'm going to be off, then I expect to be off. I don't expect to have you change the schedule at the last minute and not tell me that you send the new schedule out a day or two before it's supposed to kick in, and you've made changes and you haven't even notified me. But not only that, we made an agreement, and I do not intend to work forever. My whole life is not just selling knives. If you've been watching this channel, I disappeared, and the reason I disappeared is I was selling knives every day. So what happened was, they asked me to stay, and I thought about it, and I thought about Robert, who was the person who is related to the guy that is now my boss for the Florida zone. And I'm like, I don't want to screw over Robert. He's the one who gave me the referral. He's one of our vanners from our group. And I was like, I don't want to screw over Robert, because it was a kind thing for Robert to do, because he knew my situation, and he thought that I might be able to, this might fit in well with the vanning lifestyle, and since it was his brother-in-law, it might be a good job for me. So I decided to go ahead and stay. I told Kirk that I would stay, at least for now, because they have no staff. They don't have anyone to sell anything, because they can't retain anybody. So I didn't want to screw over his brother-in-law. Well, I did stay, and I ended up having to haul the inventory, so this is all the way back again, from Vero Beach down to Coral Springs, which is not a short drive. And I set everything up, and I did my shows. And that was like a week ago, a week and a half ago, a week ago. And then I did get time off, as they promised me, this time. So I got off for this weekend, and they've got me scheduled off actually all the way through next week, through till next location. But the issue is this now. I heard back from Robert, the guy that had referred me to this job, and he said that, I shouldn't feel obligated to stay on this job on his behalf, that business is business. Well, for me, that's a clearance to quit, because I really don't like this job. I mean, it's not bad. It's, once I learned the script and stuff, it actually is fairly easy. It's just repetitive and can burn you out. And truly, you don't make as much as they claim you do, and you have to work your butt off, and you get no breaks, and there's no benefits. You're making just a little bit more than minimum wage on average. So what's the real incentive for staying in a job like this, other than you're desperate and you need the money? For me, there was no incentive, because, well, several other things happened that kicked in, that forced the situation. One, the state of Florida, even though I was paying child support myself, and paying more than what the minimum was, they decide they're going to garnish all my wages again. So they will take 65% of my wages. Okay, so I'm like, okay. Then I get another letter from the Department of Revenue, state of Florida, not Department of Revenue, from student loans, and they're going to garnish my wages, another 15%. So between student loans and child support, they were going to garnish 80% of what I earned before taxes and all the deductions. That would leave me with about $57 every 2 weeks to live off, or less. I can't live off $57 every 2 weeks. Now, I could do that if I didn't have to work the night job, because then it'd be used for gas money and food. But I can't do it, because I have to drive hundreds, literally hundreds of miles, and buy all these tomatoes and bread and stuff for the show. So it effectively killed that job. And that is why, as of today, I am no longer employed with Hessler. Now, I've decided that it's over, I'm going to be looking for another job and seeing what I can do and seeing if what God sends my way. So for now, I'm officially not working for Hessler, and my schedule may be a little bit more free to make a little bit more videos, although I have a potential job lined up. I've contemplated working for Amazon to do Amazon distribution, Amazon deliveries. I did do Amazon deliveries when I was working for the U.S. Post Office. So, but I think with these deliveries, they want you to use your own vehicles. So I don't know, I may have to get another van or something, or re-rig your little blue to handle that. I don't know yet. Right now, everything's just so up in the air and confusing because it's all happening at once, and it was all totally unplanned. I thought I was going to have a stable job and start to become somewhat normalized again. But here I am again, not working again. Well, sort of working. I do have a job right now, which I'll talk about here in a future episode. But I'm looking at Amazon and trying to see if I can get the other job working. You know, because right now I'm kind of employed, pseudo-employed, with another position. And that's what's been going on. For those of you who have been curious as to where Denoy has been and what's been going on and why he has disappeared, I apologize that I haven't been able to upload. It's been difficult to have time to even get access to the internet and get online to do episodes, because every day was just spent waking up, showering, eating, going and selling knives, and repeating the cycle over and over, and doing laundry, because I always had to clean clothes to, you know, obviously present myself as a product demonstrator. And with any luck, I'll start to be able to do more YouTube videos again on a semi-regular basis. So, you know, if you've been following along, and hopefully I've uploaded it, I'm currently reviewing the NOCO battery pack that was sent to me by NOCO, and it looks like the channel is actually picking up sponsorships. Well, not really sponsorships, but people who are interested in promoting their product or reviewing their product have been contacting me to review. So this is good, right? Now, I did request from them that if they wanted me to review this, if they would give me an extra as a gift that I'm going to give to our viewers. So if you're viewing this channel right now, make sure that, you know, I hope you're currently reviewing it, because if you're watching it much later, the giveaway will already be over. But they gave me 2 units. They gave me a 70 GB unit and a 40 GB unit. And the 70 GB unit I am reviewing. The 40 GB unit, which is brand new, I will be giving away. So the plan is to put up the review, and NOCO wants to review my review before I can make it public. And if I can't, then, you know, no public review for them, other than, you know, like an official review. But I do want to do my own personal review, which will happen later. The review I'm doing for NOCO is the official review, in the sense that I'm following their instructions on how you use it, how you charge it, and its intended purpose. Of course, you know, this channel, we don't exactly use things as intended. We kind of use them as needed. So after the official review, I'm going to make another video where I start to really push the product and try to make it usable for someone living in a van, because we're going to be using it as a power pack, a house battery pack, and charging it in, you know, unofficial ways, and just doing crazy stuff with it, because that's what I do, right? So I thank you all for tuning in. I apologize that I have not been able to update as much as I would have liked to, but I appreciate you sticking with me. Thank you, everybody. Until next time, have a great day.